pop it in that channel and anybody can go back.
We're recording right now as we speak.
So let's start off with this. My opinions may not necessarily represent those of Experienced Realty Partners brokerage.
Sit where you want. I was just moving stuff right there. No, you're good. I just setting my stuff down.
So I was saying that the first thing that I do when I'm offering an open house, besides say yes, because that's free leads, is I do the math. So I know that the $550,000 house that I'm doing the open house at is going to gain me $10,300 in commission when I pick up a buyer. So I already know that. I'm already excited myself because in my mind, I need to get that $10,000 in my bank. So the second thing I do is the tour. I do a tour with them about their house. And we used Salem for an example. If I didn't do a tour of the house, I wouldn't have known that the brewery stays with the house and the television. And we did have, I'm not going to throw anybody under a bus, an agent that was doing that open house. There's an agent that was doing the open house after I had done it. She calls me on the phone and she says, "Tell me about the house." And I'm thinking, really? And the agent gets to the house. The homeowner's like, "Do you need a tour? Do you want me to show you around?" "No, I'm good." That's really a bad answer. So it's really good that you invest in the tour and again, compliment them on it. And again, I ask them if they want shoe covers. I'll provide that for them with respect for their house. Ask them what they like about the neighborhood, what's nearby, dog parks, those type of things. So the second step that I do, or the third step that I do, is the day of, I have to know a few things. I have to know the taxes on that house. I don't have it in front of me, but I know that they paid last year $4,029 in taxes. They're going to ask you. Know the seller's disclosure. I always get there 20 minutes early. And then for them, people put out balloons, right? So stuck in the corner of our dingy office, old office in the very back, I saw this banner. So I take this banner home, I wash it, and I'm like, this could be pretty cool. I'm like, people put balloons out, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's got to be 14 feet tall. So I'm like, just looking at this, and this could be cool.
Oh, fancy.
Wow.
So, catch this.
Give it here.
More of those? No.
Can I give it here?
Oh, wow. No way.
It's as simple as this. So,
Oh my gosh.
and you don't tell the client because people put shitty little balloons out. You hammer this in the ground in front of their house before you go in. You stick this in the yard, and they walk out, and they're like, "Holy crap!"
You want people to know, don't you?
I'm not going to let anybody borrow any of mine, but I have another one that I put on the main road.
Yep.
Because there's a little Experienced Realty Partner sign pointing, so I've got two 14-foot flags.
Yep. It makes a huge difference.
Okay, now I'm selling your idea,
No
but now I'm doing a
one
14-foot flag now.
Well,
They use those
you-
signs. They got that idea from us.
That's
And-
cool.
Yeah, people are just driving by.
Exactly, yeah.
And it says something about you being different to all the neighbors. They're like, holy cow, that guy's got a huge old.
Wow, we list our house, he's gonna do that when
we
we list our house,
All right, you gotta differentiate, like you said.
I know.
What's different about me? What's different about us? I like that.
So yeah, and I would beg Kendall for them. I would beg her for them. Give me, I'd do 2 a day. I would do one on Saturday. I'd do one on Sunday. I don't have any distractions at home.
Yeah.
I want the money, right? Do I want leads? Yeah. But you're not going to get the leads if you don't get them.
Right.
So that's on me. I mean, if Kathy feels that I'm doing a good enough job down the road and wants to give me a lead, that's fine. But I've never asked her for one.
Right.
And I wouldn't. Why would my mindset be that as much as we get here, learning wise, why would my expectation be any different than I'm going to implement it?
Right.
So that's how I look at it.
I like that.
So the day of, I don't want to be that agent that walks in and I'm doing this. You're fine. I'm doing this. Here's my business cards. Oh, name, email. I forgot his sign-in sheet.
Right.
I don't want to be that guy. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
So what sets us apart I have on here Home Pro, which is awesome.
People love that.
So
We set up there. Everything there. Business cards.
all right,
Looks like he signs in here. Is that right, Curtis? Is that what you're doing? Sign-in sheet for attendees or potential clients.
all right, Curtis, get in there. I just had it up. My bad.
Let's get a shot of that nice open house sign. That thing is fancy. Mhm.
So this is an open home pro. You can see all the open houses that I've done in here. Keeps them in there. If I do a double open house, I've already got it in here. So what it does is you just start. You just hit begin open house. And you just touch the sign in. So if you have techie people, you want that, it's cool. And the people that sign in, they get an email with the photos reminding them of it. If not, I have a hand sign-in sheet that has their information, who's your agent, that type of thing. On the back, we can make notes. So when they leave, son's name, daughter's name, they have a Yorkie, they blah, blah, blah. So you have that information. This is the good one. You have the seller's disclosure sheet there. People want the seller's disclosure sheet. That's your niche to get their information. This one stays with the house. I'd love to email you one, making sure, is this the right email for you? Oh, I forgot the 1, 2, 3 on my email. I want that. When I greet them at the door, hi, welcome to the open house. I'm Curtis. Let me walk you into the kitchen. I've got a few things I'd like to go over with you to show you some brochures. So I talk to them about where their financing is. I have a couple of things to give them. 10 commandments of home buying. Of course, you have to know where they are in their home buying situation. Have they bought before? Are they pre-qualified? Blah, blah, blah. Get that information from them. Walk them over to the sign sheet. Instead of at the door saying, oh, there's a sign sheet in the kitchen. Walk them over, here's some information for you. Here's the sign-in sheet. Any questions, let me know. So then if you connect, buyer's consultation, as a mini buyer's consultation. So brokerage information that's in all of it, a little bio about it. So I hand them that.
And we have those bios, guys, in our drives that you just have to change one little part to put your little bit in. And then it's something more than a card. Everybody hands everybody a business card. But how many people have a bio about the company and our service and what the experience is, and then you as the agent?
Right.
And I let them know, I don't know where you are in the buyer's process, but for my buyers, I recommend that you do the business part of it first, and that's the loan. Here's our preferred loan officer and some information to help get you started. Let them tour the house, do that type of thing.
You follow them or you just stand there?
It depends on the connection. I sometimes I do both. So in the Salem house, when they go down that lower level, I go down that lower level with them.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty spectacular. This thing's a rabbit hole. Have you guys been to it? It looks like a small 1,000-foot ranch from the outside, and when you go into it, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I love to take them for a tour of the lower level because there's the brewery. Then you slide open the barn door, and then there's the big cooler with 4 kegs of freshly brewed beer and how it connects and how it works, with the tap system, that kind of thing. So when there's super cool stuff, and or when I connect with them, that's when I do that piece of it. So go through the entire process. There's probably some things I left out or some things that everybody else does. But one thing I always do is I always follow up with the homeowner.
How do you mind the next day? When do you do yours? That same day, or do you do yours the next day?
I do it on my way out of the house when I'm in my car.
Okay, I'm always doing it the next morning, so I need to do mine up and do it the same day.
Especially in the
Okay.
second market.
Uh-huh.
People are making decisions in hours.
Yeah, they want to know.
And and I would say don't be a pleaser. Don't overpromise on your open house. Because I told somebody at an open house that they're going to be receiving an offer because the people that were in there said we're going to be putting in an offer and we don't have an offer yet.
Yeah.
So and I told her, I said, look, I'd never overpromise because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So I told her that right away. I said, but we did have someone that said that they would be submitting an offer.
What about for after showing? How long do you guys usually follow up?
So after showing, they get a.
Monday morning.
They do,
they
okay.
get an automatic email request for feedback.
Okay, I didn't know
They
that.
get that for a couple of days in a row. Typically, it's good practice, if it's your listing, to pick up the phone and call them still.
Right off the
You
bat,
know,
yeah.
and send that out. If they don't respond right away,
A lot of
hey, just give me some email.
But I think the biggest connection, at least for me, is the let me walk in. I introduce myself, and then let me walk you into the kitchen. I've got some brochures I'd like to share with you, and here's the sign-in sheet. Then I have the little A-frame there that I got online, says please register. Just some little things that sort of guide them to that. On paper sign-in sheets, it's good too. If you're worried about people signing in, fake sign somebody in.
Okay, always do that.
So you
That's the trick.
and you
Years
Feel
ago.
like it's-
It doesn't look like the house that's been a
So
bust of an open house. So somebody
it
said,
does, yeah.
somebody made a joke about, I have a stalker. So-and-so's my stalker, because it's the same name they use in every open house. So they're like, they put a couple days
I
on
put my
there.
sister's name in.
There you go.
That was my sister's name in.
Sure.
Go ahead, Chris, sorry.
No, that's so I always do that. Plus people that walk in are like, oh, nobody's signing in. Oh, this
Right,
like that's
you're teaching them what to do, because whatever the person before them does
They're gonna follow
is a
the
lot of times what they do. So if the person before skipped the phone number,
Don't swear.
they're gonna skip
Fill it all out,
the
the
phone
whole
number.
line.
So you fill out every single line.
Because they're gonna
They
look-
didn't put it, so I'm not.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's human nature.
and I love the digital because it's cool, but I get better results from and
Really?
and the paper for me is instant gratification because do you have an agent? No, I'm on them, totally on them, and you don't necessarily get that from the computerized version because it's just it goes back to the blank screen and somebody has to just click on it and go back in.
Should always put as an option. I prefer the language that says, are you working with an agent? Provide agent's name. If you say agent, yes, no, they're all gonna go yes. Because
Right.
that's their, I'm just looking,
Don't bother
when you
me.
go to the mall thing, don't bother me.
Right.
So that's their safety.
That's
Say,
good
I have
call.
an agent, so back off.
Yeah. So on that one, what I like is because there's eye contact with that one. It says, "Do you have an agent?" Yes. And I'm like, oh, you're working with an agent. Who's your agent?
Yeah.
Oh well, but
Exactly, and they're like,
Right.
what's her name, babe? Like, they don't even know.
Right.
They don't even know.
The sign-in sheet is different than mine.
Mhm.
and you can just order those online.
Really?
You can get anything online, right?
And then Curtis, I like what he says, if they flat out say, oh, my agent is Susie Johnson, blah, 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 and then these people over here aren't, he's kind of gonna be more like, when they go over here and spend some time with these
Exactly.
people
Right.
than the one who's already committed to an agent.
Right.
He's still trying to answer questions about the house, you're zeroing in on who could potentially be a client.
Mm-hmm.
So that one doesn't work.
Did
I
you,
got one for you.
have you ever averaged out like how many people, all these open houses you've done, what's your percentage that you've actually picked up as buyers that have closed homes with you? You know
Oh,
that?
percentage? I have no idea. I probably it's probably one out of probably for buyers, but one out of 2 or 3 that I'm sending properties to and sort of communicating with, keep engaged, but probably 1 out of 10.
And at least it's database. I mean, even if these people don't buy from you this time,
Mhm.
their name and phone number and contact information is in your database. If you keep constantly sending out to your database, you might catch some of these people on their next go around.
But
Because you know what? So many people have shitty experiences with their real estate.
Yeah, that little
But-
thing fruit always changes.
But if you do, if you get that, you're getting a client every other month. So you're talking about okay, that's the buy side, but do you have something to sell? Then there's also that piece of it. Doug Pratt, his first year in real estate, didn't have any idea what he was doing. Pounded open houses, 19 closings, $59,000 in commission, just getting warmed up. And they do it all the time. They're great at it. They're going to do $20 million this year. That's real money.
Mhm. Oh,
So again, until you find your niche, I pounded those things down. We didn't really have FirePoint back then. If we had FirePoint, I would be all over it because I know what I want my numbers to be. So, I
Open
just
houses can can be a little gold mine, but it's all about how you work it. It's the prep work and the follow-up work. If you're just
Not just
90% of the agents, like you said, fly in, right a minute before it's supposed to open, throw your signs down. You know, we had one agent, she's not here anymore, so I can talk about it, is, you know, came in with their McDonald's in their sack and had lunch while they were doing the open house. And I can't say that I've never done that before,
Right.
you know, in 20-something years, I've eaten before. But the seller came in and said, totally unprofessional, your agent showed up late. First of all, showing up late in open house, not the worst thing you can do. Showed up late, flew in, seemed flustered, brought their lunch in a sack and smelled my whole house up smelling like McDonald's before my open house.
If I'm doing a nice open house, I'm getting there early, I'm calling, and when I do that tour, can I do mimosas? Is that okay? Can I do something sort of special, something sort of memorable? And so those people that are coming in that are potential buyers, I want them to remember a lot about me. I want them to remember that I'm prepared. I'm walking them in from the front door. I'm offering them something.
Something impactful, you want them to remember the
Yeah,
experience.
it's just something that differentiates you from the agent that you go in. They have a sign-in sheet. They're on their phone.
You guys can make little
There's too much of
for
that.
yourself and smack them on water bottles too, and that kind of stuff out. Little cookies.
I did one. I did bags of microwave popcorn. It says, "Thanks for popping by my open house."
That's cute.
With mine. Yeah.
Yeah, anything when you're late, because you can put out labels when it's a night. And then what you said, calling the seller in advance and asking them, again, people are weird, so you never know what's gonna, you think you're doing something good and something's gonna set them off. We had a seller that had a fit because the cookies that we served had sprinkles on them. And when they came home, there was some sprinkles on the carpet.
Everybody's got their little nuance.
I used to do cake pies, and I would bring someone to do cake pies that are cute and decorate them and ask, "Yeah, is it okay?" And the one lady was like, "I'll buy them." She didn't know what she
You guys ever
bought
bake
for.
cookies in the house, so it's got that fresh baked cookies?
That was an old
You know what, my
trick.
last house, but the one before that, I let this elderly lady, so she kept knocking on it, and she was persistent. And I had a different girl I was interviewing, she was, you know, ambitious, attractive, and it's like, I thought I was gonna give it to her, and this lady showed up at my door 4 times. And finally I said, you know what? You got it. And she came in and she baked cookies in the house. And I didn't know, and she said, you don't mind if I use your oven kitchen? What do you want? She goes, no, I'm gonna bake a bunch of cookies in your house so it smells. Well, I can't smell, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I didn't know if that was still
Yeah.
Slice of bacon. Slice of bacon came out.
Yeah, exactly.
But we totally have the tools here, and I don't think your license number means anything. 2018, Tamara Hill, she's pushing 10 this year. 2018, Adrian, she's pushing 10 this year. Megan, she's going to do over 10 this year. She's got 2018 on her license. Open houses, then find your niche. And Tamara Hill, also with her 10 million, is also invested in Firepoint. So, yeah. So that's my big thing is with me, if I'm not getting the leads, it's because I'm not getting the leads. It's not because they're being handed to me. And I don't expect Kathy or Kendall, either one, to trust me with any of their leads until I've proven that, you know, that I'm doing what I need to be doing, that I'm getting, you know, you're getting good feedback. I'm doing a lot of open houses. I'm putting in the
You're a
time.
great representative of the experience to our sellers. And that is one thing that's hard for people, the way real estate is conducted nowadays. It used to be one agent, jack of all trades, did everything. So they were used to just talking to you. And you're the one that comes and does their open house and like all that stuff. So it is a little bit unnerving for them sometimes to have strangers show up at the house and it's like, how is John gonna sell my house and we've never even seen my house before? So that bothers people sometimes. But theoretically, if you think about it, for you to be the guy that's holding your listing open only, then that means you can really only have 2 listings at a time, really. So, and then nobody with that's ever gonna make money. So that's an antiquated way of doing business. And a lot of the big brokerages don't do it that way anyway because they have all the new agents sign up for all the new open houses and everybody disperses and does open houses. That's a common way of doing business, but it doesn't feel good for the seller. Because they've talked with you and they've conversed with you about their features and they think you're gonna sell the house, and then some stranger they never talked to shows up 2 months before the open house. So Curtis has gone out of his way for years to call that seller ahead of time and acquaint himself with the seller. ask the seller, tell me about your house. Now he's building a little bit of a rapport and an establishment with that seller to feel like the seller has talked about the best features of their house to the guy that's gonna come represent the people that are walking in. So he's done that, he's gone out of his way to go meet with them in advance. I don't know if you said that yet earlier. Meet with them and go walk through the house like on Wednesday before he goes and does the open house. And honestly, if you're not super busy, you should be working your open houses, like sending out invitations to the neighbors the week before, like planning in advance when you're gonna do this open house. Do your comps for the neighborhood. So when
That's
people
huge.
walk in, it's
That's
huge. When people walk in, and even know like a radius around what else is available. So if like, oh, wow, gosh, how much is this house? Because the one down the street, they're asking such and such for it. Well, then you need to be able to know it enough because you did your comps, go, yeah, but that one doesn't have a finished basement. We have the finished basement, we have the 3-car garage, that one only has a 2-car garage. And Baxter Railroad tracks, whatever, keep it on my way. So it's knowing your competition when you're in that house too, because that also makes you look like a real estate expert. You're not just trying to sell in this house. You have knowledge of the area, you have knowledge of the inventory that's around it, because that's what people are looking for. Nobody cares about what setting up in searches as much anymore, because everybody's got a search set up somewhere, Zillow, Realtor.com, an agent, 5 different agents, whatever. But knowing information, hey, did you know like this Brentwood Bound thing? Brentwood Bound's gonna be redoing all the streetscapes, and hey, did you know the school was right up the street, so you could walk your kids up this trail and go straight to the school. Like little things like that about the neighborhood, the area, the comps around there, makes you look like an expert where they're looking. And that's what they're seeking is knowledge. Knowledge that they can't readily find like this.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you interview the seller, the more you're gonna get little nuggets that you can throw out that they just can't just Google.
And I'm probably different than a lot of people because I don't really keep friends that I used to associate with. I totally just am with like my current circle of people. So it takes me a little bit longer to ramp up because I had to. I mean, I had to pound on. I can't rely on all these people that I've sort of have family and friends and you guys totally invest in. But one thing I did do is at the beginning of every year, I tell myself, don't get through this year and not hit your goal and can't say it's because of lack of effort. I'm going to continue to tell myself, okay, it was not because of lack of effort. But that was the biggest thing for me. I mean, what are you going to do? They're free. And I would pick them ahead of time. Kendall, you got a good one coming up this weekend. I would like.
I've never turned it down, I've never asked for it, but that's.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's up. If I'm going to be doing an open house, because she's going to ask me, because I'm not going to say no. If I'm going to be doing an open house, I want to get first dibs on the good ones. I want to get in there. What do you have?
So I try to never say no to anything I'm offered.
I know.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes you'll have a stinker that comes your way, and it is what it is. And that's part of the team is we got to get our sellers covered. Because you can't say, no, nobody wants to do your open house because nobody likes it, So every once in a while, somebody's got to take it on the chin and take the stinker.
Yeah, right.
And usually I have to say, Curtis, you're very good about still taking a stinker when you know it's.
I've picked a client up off of one, that tired old one that we had in Chesterfield, that doctor that didn't live in it any
You never
longer.
know what you're going to stumble.
It was like
Somebody else coming to look for a house for their son, and you never know. There's
week 10 or week 11, and picked up, still working on them, the Haigs, but still. But that $10,000 that I didn't get because it was a stinker, I didn't leave it on the table though.
Right.
It was I didn't just like sit at home or do something else. I mean, it was still there.
And now more than ever, because there's so many buyers out in droves, like, the problem is we just don't have the inventory. But when we have inventory, like line up 2 open houses in a weekend. You just do one, like take advantage while the market is crazy like this. At least have somebody to follow up with, because it's all a numbers game.
It's the more people your age. But anyway.
And then you have to think of it both ways. I'm here to impress the seller. but I'm also here to impress all the people that come through, because these are people that are looking to transact in real estate. So if I'm doing something that is above and beyond at this seller's open house, that might stand out to these people, and they might end up now saying, I was impressed with that guy. We were thinking about calling so-and-so, but we've already talked to him, he's following up. You know what, I'd love you to come over and take a look at our house and see. Because you did something impressive that is a little bit above and beyond what the normal real estate agent does.
That has to be
You're
your,
being interviewed. You don't realize it. You're being interviewed at every open house by those prospects now.
And if you're just there as a glorified door opener, I'm like,
I'm always thinking they have to buy the house from somebody. Might as well be
What Kayla
me.
asked is, what do? Do you follow them around? I typically try, say, hey, come on in, first thing I say is, I need you guys, I need everyone that walks through the door for insurance purposes, we have to have you sign in with your contact information. Would you
I said
please?
that last Sunday at work.
Yeah, it does. It gives them a reason instead of just sign in so I can butt the shit out of you.
Right.
That's what most people are thinking. But hey, listen, for insurance purposes, and even with like COVID and stuff, we've got to log every person that walks in this house, because you can stop the sign in sheet first. They sign in, and then I'll say, come on in, feel free to look around. I'll probably sit and check on you here and there, see if you have any questions, and then I'll just kind of back off a little bit. Okay, thanks, and they'll walk around. I'm still like 10 feet from them, listening, and then they'll say something like, oh, yeah, actually that does open, and I'll kind of walk over and be like, let me show you, and then just again, step back out, let them have their space, but I'm always like lurking back, I'm like,
Is that lady still back there?
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to my-
Yeah, they'll be like, that's my.
I think you would kind of gauge from people.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I've been in some where you can tell it's a husband and wife, they don't want you around. They don't want to talk to you. They're private. And then there's other people that they're more receptive to talking. So you get a gauge for how much they want your interaction.
Yeah,
And
sometimes they show up with their agent too.
Right.
And their agent's like, back the fuck off.
Yeah, we're all a little different on that, I think. The Salem house, so they tour the upstairs, they come down to the main floor. Great upstairs, right? What'd you think with the closet? Cool walk-in shower. They liked it. Okay, so then they go to the lower level. Well, in that particular house, that's where I follow them down to the lower level because it's so
Or you
cool.
might-
But
that's something really
You know what,
unique and
I
different.
have to jump in with you on this one, because I gotta show you some really cool things about
Yeah.
the basement.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, would you say the majority of the people who come to an open house are already working with an agent, or no?
Probably 50-50, I'd say.
Tops 50-50.
Then you always have your nosy neighbors. You
You'll
gotta figure that out.
50, and you'll have 50% of that 50 that tells you they're working with an agent when they're not really
Right.
committed. What do you say, Christy?
I had three groups that said they didn't have agents. They were just kind of prelim looking for houses.
Sure, right. And I asked just so you know, I mean, that if that's the case, if, the majority of people that are coming through, then you're not going to bother too much, and probably already get a contract with somebody. Or if they're not, you've got some potential.
But even though they have an agent, they always end up going with that.
Yeah,
Because
right, exactly.
Their opinion of, I have an agent, is they know somebody
Doesn't
or
mean
they
they
talk
signed
to somebody.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they signed it.
And nosy, I don't know what you do, but like nosy neighbors, most people will tell me that, I look,
Yep.
three houses up, I have the same floor plan. Yeah, I just wanted to see her. I still get their information because what if they
Absolutely.
decide to sell that house in
That's
a
right.
year?
Database.
I contact, and I'm like, oh, that's okay, but you look and give me your information. I'm like, I promise I'm not gonna bug you. And I get their information, but then of course I do something, to follow up. Hey, it was great meeting
If
you.
you're really, really, really diligent, you would take those type of people and organize them in your database as, this was a neighbor of the open house.
That's a good idea.
Versus just throw them into the pool.
Yeah.
And then you market differently to those type of people. So you could always be like, home maintenance ideas, yada, 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 things like that, because they're not necessarily in the market to sell yet.
But sometimes they would be.
They're gonna be one of these days, so you're getting ideas in front of them that isn't so off base that they just go unsubscribe. Because if you're like, open house, new price reduction, like sending stuff to people that they're not yet in the market, that's when it's spam to them. But if you're saying, okay, here's a group of people that I met at open houses, they said they weren't ready to buy or sell yet, they're nosy neighbors. So now what kind of a drip campaign can I set up for them that's gonna be value about letting in and around a house and community versus sell by.
The VIP night is cool also. We sold Camelot on a VIP night in really big house. One of the neighbors, I guess, had a friend that wanted to live in that area, and we were doing the VIP open house and called the friend, hey, come on over, they're doing a VIP open house, just walk through it with me, let's see what the house looks like. Called Kelly that night and put in an offer on the house before we even went on the market. So the neighbors can, I mean, the neighbors.
Yeah. I used to do so explain to them what the VIP is, because I don't know that they even know what
No,
it is. Because
I think I know what it is.
both of them kind of came when COVID, we weren't doing stuff.
So what we do is we send out invitations. We door hang.
Mhm.
We see if there's a neighborhood Facebook page. We send the Facebook blast out, have somebody from the area send it out. We do everything we can so that in signs, so that the neighbors know that we're doing a VIP night for them. And we do cheeses and cookies. We do champagne. We have
preview the house before the public can preview the house.
Okay.
and making a
Night for all the neighbors to come sneak a peek and pick and make and have an opportunity to pick your new neighbors. In other words, you're gonna go tell your friends that your neighbor's house.
then the mindset, because you get a ton of people through, then you get them thinking now when they're getting ready to sell, oh man, that real estate group did that cool thing, that VIP night, sold the house so fast, and it's fun. It's
That's a
fun.
great idea, I like that.
You really have to do different things like that. Stand up. There's
Yeah.
so much. It's so easy to just blend in
Mhm.
with the masses. You have to do something to stand out.
And the problem
Otherwise,
is the
it's
real
just
estate
picking a number
agents,
online.
they hear that they see what other people are doing, so they're just mimicking the same old traditional stuff. And to the consumer, it's because everybody's saying the same thing. Hey, so you see your neighbor. Hey, open house. Hey, I mean, like everybody's saying. So what are you saying that's a little bit different that shouldn't stop somebody's, mind and go, oh, what does that mean? Like when I was saying before, we were doing mailings about don't offer to do a free CMA, offer to say, hey, let's do an equity checkup on your home. What's an equity checkup? CMA. That's a different way of saying that. Like how much money might be hiding in your house.
Sure.
That was a mailer that we did, a couple people got calls from. Do you know how much money might be hiding in your house?
I'm gonna do another one with direct mail to
Do
my
that
neighborhood.
and then say,
Yeah, I'm
call
trying
me
to get
today, we'll
to
do an equity checkup. You might be surprised at how much money is sitting in underneath your roof or something like that.
What do you think about middle of the week open houses? Like, they call them, what do they call them, what is it?
Happy hour
Happy
open
hour, yeah, happy hour
Mhm.
open houses.
I haven't done any. I
I
haven't
think
done any.
less likely to more people coming because everyone's working Monday
I
to
think
Friday.
that's when we do our neighborhood VIPs and we have lots of
Mhm.
action.
What time do you do, like at 6 in the evening, when people are done working?
Like 5 to 7.
Oh,
5 to 7, yeah.
Okay.
It's like a happy hour.
Most people are working from home
People-
anyways now,
now-
so.
So again, this was all pre-COVID, so we were catching people on their way home.
Yeah.
We were catching people, they already went to the bus stop, picked up their kids, and then they came back to look at open houses and stuff, so.
So you have had some success. You haven't done any, you said?
You've done.
I've done plenty of the VIP nights.
No, like through the week. I mean,
I haven't, yeah, we'll do those sometimes on a Friday, sometimes on a Wednesday or Thursday. We sort of just switch it up.
Okay.
Because we're trying to get a feel for what's our best, which day is our best return.
Right.
on it.
Engage a little bit.
Mhm.
But I would say, again, if you're not super swamped, try something in the week, do some happy, because this year, who knows? There is no normal this year. So put out some Wednesday night, Thursday night open houses. But it's all about promoting it at least days or a week in advance so that people know and then catch them during
Their drive.
yeah.
I'm gonna do something when Fran gets further along in the house, something like that to stir some activity on that.
Yeah. And Curtis is always good about a spread. Him and Kim have their nice little beautiful spreads at their open houses, especially if you're doing a happy hour one.
Mhm.
Definitely want to have, a little crackers and cheese and, maybe a couple, go to Sam's and get the brownie bites
Yeah,
or something.
cute
It doesn't have to be
We have
super elaborate.
we have the insulated silver
Mhm.
coolie thing that's all put champagne in there, beer in there, blah blah blah, and have some and colas and water, that type of thing. But and she sets up a really nice tray. We cheat and buy the stuff already prepared, but then she puts it on a really nice tray.
Presentation.
Best conversations happen around food and drink.
Mhm.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, I did that one in Frontenac. Remember that
Oh, yeah,
We did
you
a
had a
2-day
ton of people.
open house. We probably had 70 some people do that.
So when you do those open houses, the nice thing about it is you're engaging for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Somebody just walking through the house because they're over there, they're having, you're conversing, they're having, a little bite to eat, they're having a cocktail or something.
Yeah,
and
who
you-
picks up their food and just walks away from it?
Yeah, you definitely get more face time with a potential client.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it's a small investment to make for
It is.
what
Yeah,
could
'cause
be.
And you know what I
investing
buy?
your time to be there anyway, so why not maximize it?
And you know what I buy for those events? Things that I like.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm taking home are things that I want back at the house. It's good stuff.
If you provide that too, that's gonna keep
Right?
people there a little bit longer. You have it gives you a window to talk to a little bit as opposed to the person who's just walking out, piss off, don't want to talk to
Exactly.
you. I like that. So,
Yeah, and then remember too, bring your own marketing materials. That's another thing that
Definitely.
people forget. They're like running around and show up and then they're like, where's the brochures? Oh, we only have 3 brochures left. Those brochures are designed to go home to prospects that are there with other agents. So it
I
has
usually
the
remove them.
yeah, exactly. It has the company branding. It's gonna have if it's my listing, it's gonna have my listing on it. If it's Curtis' listing, it's gonna have his information on it. So you should be making up your own, take the features and stuff from the listing brochure, but then you make up your own design so it has your picture and your contact information and stuff. So that's what's going home with the consumer, not the listing agent's information. Because you want that consumer to call you back.
I literally take a kitchen drawer and I just put it in whatever drawer I find and
Yeah.
close up the drawer.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Paul.
Exactly.
I do exactly the same thing.
And like you said, those brochures and things, those.
'Cause that's my 2 hours.
Right.
And Brittany can provide us with anything.
Yes.
If you're in an expensive home, they can do them for jumbo loans. They can do it
Yeah,
for.
she could run a sheet that would show what the mortgage payment is at 5% down, 10% down, whatever that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
people like to see that too, I would imagine. Because in their mind, everyone's crunching numbers when they're going through this
Right.
process. What's this house gonna cost me?
Yeah.
And it's the more you can send home, I think that just,
Yeah, even if you can find.
even if you gotta throw it away, you gotta look at it again
Community
before you pitch
information.
it, you know? Mhm.
Well, anything that's got your name on it or your company's name on it, you can send home to somebody. That gives you competitive advantage. It's whether they stick it in the drawer, glove box,
Yeah.
or.
And they throw it when they throw a purse and not clean their purse out for 2 weeks and, oh, I thought that was in there. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I do.
You speak from experience. So, yeah, guilty as charged.
Yep.
Well, good stuff. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good stuff. So who's got the next open house coming up?
We actually do have some of these, not as robust as this, but there's somewhere back there. There's branded flags. They're not quite as
Yeah, I was
tall.
gonna say that.
But there are-
Oh,
There-
I do.
Yeah,
Definitely gonna
there's
use
some
those. I'm gonna
branded
steal
ones
that
back
from you.
there.
You need to put some of those in front of Muirfield?
Yeah, exactly, for sure. No, not Muirfield. Not Muirfield. We're not selling that.
Oh, yeah, condo, that's right, yeah. Maybe not the open house. Maybe we should- They won't let you do that down there, will they?
No, they
For
don't
sale
allow
or
any
anything, like
signs
on
at
a
all.
porch or anything?
Most condo complexes don't.
They don't want to see that.
Mhm.
Does in a situation like that, do they help you guys or do they assist in selling with anything like that? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. No bites?
No,
Will you email me that listing and I can send to my cousin? She owns a property management company in the real estate
All right.
down there.
archive
Thank you.
comment?
I'll get it over to her.
And broadcast.
Yeah, I
Adios,
almost,
people.
I almost didn't bring this in because I didn't want anybody asking for it.